What is this? Oh, it's way up here. Read the report. Chancellor Hegel sent his congratulations on the great victory and wished for close cooperation between our countries in the future. Hegel signaled concessions for Valsgard in case of promising trade deal. He has congratulated the Swedish democracy for the successful election and warned us of a threat Arcasia's growing influence poses for Eastern Makopa. Who's you? Congratulations from the PM of Van Horten. Prime Minister Van Horten congratulatory us on our election and praised our party stance on just and transparency election. He signaled he wishes to continue the trade partnership between our countries as equal partners, as opposed to the earlier trade deals which he believes gave sort of unfair advantage. That's not labeled anything. Port of Latron loses importance. Latest marine traffic reports show that the port of Latvian is no longer the busiest of the Mercopia continent, falling behind to the third position. While this is a negative indicator for our administration, Latvian still has the potential to shine again with the major trading center. Port of Lavan is the largest port of Scotland and holds numerous importance to the economy, particularly as the main distribution center linking to the capital and the inner parts of Sorland to the rest of the world. The majority of the city will hopefully keep supporting the possible economical upturn to the entire country and invest in the future. What this? Prime Minister Alvarez congratulated you for the results and spoke about the hopes of the beneficial partnership deal in the future. He sent his best wishes to the Swedish people and warned us about the threats of the incoming malevolent flight. You okay, Munchkin? Warned us about the threat of the encroaching malevolent influence in the United Crotona from the east, emphasizing the importance of the unity of our continent. The region of Bergia is among the worst hit regions of Sorland, where homelessness has skyrocketed since the economical recession. 20 minutes! The number of homeless in the city of Dyer is more likely to have increased by 25% in the last year. The rise was particularly stark amongst Bludish people, where homelessness increased by 72% in the last 6 years. It is reported that homelessness among ethnical minorities has reached the highest level in more than a decade. The Bludish minority of the region now accompany up to 47% of the homeless people here. You can go in the window? Okay. That's not what I wanted. Alright, so everything got read. No. The report calls attention to the alarmist low level of productivity growth in the region of Agnaland, where there are also high rates of food insecurity, malnutrition, and rural poverty in the inner parts of the region. The mayor of Arvory, Eric Neal, reports a lack of adequate infrastructure around Arvory, which seriously undermines the attractiveness of Arvory's investment climate. Foreign investors, particularly from Agnolia, are becoming hesitant to invest in the city. Meanwhile, according to the data published in National Business Council, around 19% of the company's total expenditures is land is absorbed from logistical costs, while in peer regions, this figure is below 10%. So that's all of them red. Thank you for the raider. Hey Braves, how are you? How are you? What have you been playing? Sign or veto the electoral campaign financial bill that was approved by the Grand National Assembly. Ding. White spot. Don't do that. No, because that one I think is Gordon Ramsay. Need to make sure that's white spot. Why would you make me panic like that? Let me look. I think that one's Gordon Ramsay. Why would you pick that number? I need to learn how to do YouTube stuff. Panels. I don't even know if this will tell me what it is. Da, 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 da. Meow. Why is there no delete button? Why are these all crossed off? It's probably because no. Edit. Okay, so I need to go through there and change these because I think that one's not. I don't know what that is. Been playing Conan Exiles here lately. Is that fun? Because I have it. I started that a couple hours ago. The Reform Committee reports any potential change to the Constitution and directive performance will likely result in the strong opposition of the National Upfront Party. National Front Party. Members of the Assembly in such direction seem to be in a great number and possibly make a majority of the Grand National Assembly, while most Members of the United Garland Party seem reluctant about supporting such changes. What are you doing? Why am I better at Conan Exiles than I do Ark? I don't know. I haven't played either of them. I think I have them both though. Further investigation by the police department revealed a potential arson case with no identifying suspects yet. It's like Ark. The police chief of Halzard has voiced concern about suspected sabotage from the foreign nation, inviting the Swordist Intelligence Directorate in the investigation to expand the investigation. The area is cordoned off to the public to discover further evidence. Thank you for the raider. Sign or veto the election bill. The Grand National Assembly of the Republic of Swordland, but very graphic. The criteria for the allocation of public funds shall no longer be according to the number of votes won in the general election by a political party. New criteria shall be the proportion of seats won by a political party at the assembly. Political parties shall receive an annual amount of 500,000 ren per member of assembly. This result in the doubling of the USP election budget, and a slight increase in the other parties of the assembly, which effectively removing all funding from parties that are below 10% of the election threshold. So, no funding for independents? That's not nice. Heary, heary. I think your bill should be vetoed. Because independents should be allowed to run, even if they're under 10%. And no, you don't need $500,000. Saving game. Oh, great. Simon Hall, guest manager, and Lila Scraff were about to arrive at the White Room for our scheduled economy meeting. This was the room in the Maroon Palace where all important meetings were held. Two assistants arrived first, carrying the heavy projector. They stood with it by the door, waiting for the ministers to enter. None have managed to get your raiders in the battlefield? From the hallway, I heard Lilia's Graff's voice. She was using a patient, almost motherly tone she often took in heated arguments. Gus, do you really have to think that such an economical advanced area is more in need of an investment than Agnan land? Agnan land. Blah blah. Lilius, my interior minister, strode in. She was clad in shades of brown and beige. The only spot of color, a bright yellow Norse star on the necklace. Gus followed close behind. Thank you for the raider. Don't be an idiot, Lilas. What about the unemployment crisis to the greater Hull's sword? Or Gilsland? Regions are going through. Those areas are more economical heartland. Thank you for the raider. Gus curled his hands into fist. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development's temper hadn't changed since his days in the Alfonso administration, but neither had his reputation for getting things done. His far-reaching network of connections was unlike any other. Simon Hull quickly stepped between the two ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I am very well and motivated, Mr. Rain. It seems our ministers are feeling the same. Okay, bro, gotta go. Have a good one. Have a great night. I hope you have fun. And I hope you enjoy your phasmophobia. I'm very well and motivated, Mr. Rain. Oh, we read that one. Just as expected. How's it going, Gus and Lilas? I can clearly see that. What was that discussion about? We were having a discussion about the infrastructure plans. If I may, I would like to talk to you about the... Simon interrupted. We will get there, Gus. No rush. First, I would like to conduct my economy presentation. I am interested in what Gus has to say. Let's begin. Simon pulled the silk handkerchief out of his pocket and briefly wiped his glasses. 5 minutes, 43 seconds. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of... He is interrupted by a groan from one of his assistants by the door, both of whom were now visibly struggling to get up the heavy projector. Oh, you can put that up there. Or put that there. He pointed below the painting of the President's soul. The assistants placed the projector next to the table and installed a white screen on the wall. Leave now. Thank you. Please, leave now. The assistants left the cabinet room, and I was reminded that Simon had never quite had a way with people, but his facility with numbers had made him the most sought-after economical specialist in Saarland. Simon started looking for his slides. He's always carried documentation around with him. Lilas leaned to the table and spoke. Simon, what happened to the new police station construction in Istorf? We're going through his briefcase. He paused for a moment to answer. It got stalled due to the government property boundary issue. I have been meaning to look at it. I can look at it. Look at that one. Istorf needs all the security help it can get. Sure, more time for me to spend on analysis. His eyes glittered when he finally found the slides he was looking for. There have been some developments about the Suzerain losing further value today. We have been trying to stabilize it with the central bank. The recession of 51 put enormous pressure on the economy, resulting in the collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was a significant cause of concern for our administration. Since economics is your forte, Mr. Rain, it is important that you might already be aware of the data. I can still explain the current economical situation in better detail. What is our GDP and debt situation? What is the unemployment inflation rate? What is the status of the recession? The economy has been in recession of about -6% in the past year. The average GDP has dropped from SR 1,000 or 15,454 per capita to SR 10,359 from 1951 to now. The administration's success depends on the ability to stop the recession. The sooner we reach GDP growth, the better. What's this debt situation? Our current GDP is 310 billion in Suzerain, and the national debt is 427 billion. It's still hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth. The past 3 years were rough, though. What is our unemployment and inflation rate? Unemployment has skyrocketed and is now at a staggering 16%. But the inflation is relatively high at 7%. Unemployment is increasing. Crime and drug use. We need to get people off the street. The inflation isn't helping our average citizens either. I have all the information I need to make an economical strategy. I don't think so. Simon scattered the paper stack in front of him in an orderly manner and took a final look at his notes before clearing his throat. As you can see, the situation is alarming. But not everything is negative. The extensive privatization program of Alfonso left us a large budget surplus, which we can use to stabilize the crisis. The primary subject we need to settle on is what general path we will take in our term. Solonomics-based nationalism happened in the 30s, and Alfonso privatization began during the 40s. What will our administration focus on? Yeah, I like the randomizer because it gives you lots of different content. One of our main premises was to promote free market economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I believe it's the only way out of the recession. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome. You know I try to help people. Alright, so we need to go with nationalism. I still do not support it. Why promote the private sector when we have qualified state-owned enterprises? Because the lack of competition has made them inefficient. What are consequences of free market? Humanity in 20th century is thriving because of the rules of supply and demand. The more the economy we control, the better we can manage the recession. What are the consequences of a free market strategy? I need to talk to you later. Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. What did I break? Or not many, but one could say that we are much more likely to be influenced by the world economy. It's important to think about the subject because of the upswings of the world economy that will reflect good on ours too. Yeah, so when the global economy crashes, we will go down with it. Not bad, just not good. Thank you for the raider. The structural problems are going to lead to a recession according to the predictions at the time anyway. Either way, even we pick the doctrines, we retain the option to economy choices on the casino by the case basis. How are you? That is, however, not recommended at this point of view. The last thing we need is chaotic economical plans. Finally, something we can both agree on. There is another important point, which is a direct impact on our other economies, superpowers. Superpowers? We might have won the election, but I am still against aligning ourselves with any superpowers. Economically speaking, we are much more closer to Arcasia than United Cartana, so a decision to sign with the West makes more sense. I'm going to see about getting a new job. Good, good. That's good news, right? Must be very cautious. There are schemes being devised about Swordland. We cannot give in to their wants now or in the future, otherwise our country will turn into a pawn. Pawn stars! Oh. I want you to reconsider your promise to align with Arcasia. I made a promise to the people of Sarland I won't back down. Don't worry, I won't be under control. Yeah, it gives me something to do, but we'll be at night. Entering the sphere of Arcasia will help you boost our economy in many ways. They are wealthy and influential. You may be right. Let's see what the future brings. But that would give you something to focus your mind on as well. See what the future brings. Mr. President, we have made a promise. People want to trust their president. What kind of example would we set for future generations if we were to back down on our promises? Future generations would be thankful every day for making the right decision with Sorland. It's the only nation in the region that is not a puppet. Thank you for the lurk. When the time comes, I hope you will make the right decision for our own good. Simon cleared his throat. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Mr. Wissy. We will be in charge of informing you on those type of foreign policy decisions. We must first decide on our internal economical plan. Simon puts forward a legal document outlining the possibility with both economical doctrines listed. The cabinet's members looked at me. We have to thank Sol and his planned economy for the boom. It clearly shows the success of the system. Let's finish what Alfonso started with the capitalist free market reforms. His path was going to enrich Sorland. What are our long-term economical schedules? Would you free market focus on stronger allies? We'll go back to the successful one before the recession. Precisely the reason why we would stick to the old system. State planning and regulations both showed great success in the 30s. Only for a limited time. Until even Tarquin Sol himself discovered the limits of the system. The slowdown began during his rule, remember? Would a free market bring us stronger allies? It would make Arcazio look at our country in a more positive light. They are proponents of the free economy, the free market economy. The influence of Arcazio has on the world economy is extensive. Our economical strategy would be based on eternal reasoning, though. What is our long-term economical schedule? Picking a construction company, trade relaxations, tax reform, and privatization initiatives would be some of them. Sticking to the solid plan economy strategy will be of a tight call. The 5-year plans were fruitful in the past. Let's move on. What are your final thoughts then, Mr. President? Critical institutions must remain in the state control. We must be fully responsible in delivering services. We would look at opportunities like privatization to create financial resources. A market economy doesn't require as much guidance and could help us attract foreign capital. It's hard to fully agree or disagree with these options. Market economy. Especially from Arcasia, President Walker is always interested in expanding the economy of ATO. What's ATO? Arcasia Treaty Organization. Oh, great. We could secure lucrative investments from capitalist countries. So, what will our general economical plan promote? Free market economy as we promised. Promote a planned economy. Free economy as promised. Can't say that I agree with this. Well, fiddlesticks. Now that there is clarity on which direction we are heading, I will work on a good plan accordingly. This concludes our meeting. At our next gathering, we will talk about the upcoming infrastructure investment plan. Thank you for the raider. Got 18 minutes and 53 seconds. The ministers dispersed for lunch. Ooh, lunch.